Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Sanya and Aman.
Good evening,
Am I
sir.
audible to both of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So just give me a moment. All right, both of you. So we were talking about the retirement of the partners in the previous class, and until now in this topic, we have understood the calculation of gaining and sacrificing shares whenever a partner retires from the partnership. We understood the calculation of NPSR, new profit sharing ratio, and also we understood we understood the treatment of the goodwill whenever a partner is retiring from the partnership. In the previous class, we did question based on the formation of the revaluation account revaluation account, right? And I think I gave you one question for your homework at the end of the session, I guess. Yes or no? Did I
Yes,
give
sir.
this question for your homework? This question as homework? Did I give you this question as homework? Asha, Naveen, Shalini?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So both of you completed this question, yes or no? Sania, you did the question. You did this question, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Aman, what about you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Though, so tell me the treatment of the goodwill that appears in the book. How did you treated the goodwill that is appearing in the book?
Write it off like
Write
Asha's
it off in what ratio?
old.
Old profit sharing ratio.
Old provision. All right. So when you will write it off in the old PSR, how much each partner will have to bear?
40,000, 24,000.
40,000, 24,000, and 16,000, right?
16,000. Yes.
Hmm. Correct. Then what about the general reserve? Sania, how did you treat it general reserve?
We have to distribute it among the partners because
Mm-hmm.
nothing is given. So
In the, sorry?
nothing is given, so we have to simply distribute it among the partners.
Yeah, if nothing is given, we will presume that it need to be distributed among the partners, and this need to be distributed in the old PSR, right? And
Yes.
after distributing it on in the old PSR, you should get Asha should be getting 20,000. Naveen account should be credited by
12,000.
12,000 and 8,000, right?
8,000. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right then. So this is the correct solution of this. If I think you both of you have already done this. Anyways, I'm still showing the calculation. So this is the treatment for the appearing goodwill appearing in the book. Then this treatment will be for the general reserve, and the last treatment will be for the treatment of the self-valued goodwill. Before passing the general entry for the self-valued goodwill, we need to find out the gaining and sacrificing shares of the partner. Just confirm whether you get the same value. Asha is sacrificing 1 minus 1 by 10. Naveen is sacrificing 3 by 10, and Chalini is gaining 4 by 10. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Both of you got the same answer now?
4 by. Yes, sir.
All right. So considering all these value, we will then now pass the general entry. And general entry will be Shalini account debit by 48,000, Asha account debit to Naveen account 12,000 and 36,000. Right? Any doubts?
No, sir.
I'm in doubt?
No, sir.
No doubt. Sania, your audio is feeble today. I think there's some problem with your mic, or just that there seems to be have some problem.
Oh.
Anyway, so let's start with the new question. We'll be doing few more questions based on the retirement. Okay, so we'll start our session with this question. This is a very good question, and it will cover most of the previous concept of this chapter as well. So therefore, we will be doing this question. So this question is saying that there are three partners X, Y, and Z who were sharing the profit in the ratio of 2 is to 2 is to 1, 3 is to 2 is to 1. And their balance sheet as on 31st March 2019 is as follows. Firm's balance sheet is given. On the balance sheet, in the balance sheet on the asset side, you can see we have a cash balance of 5750. Then debtor is 40,000 less provision for doubtful debt 38,000. Stock 30,000, investment, the market value of the investment is given as 117,600. 600, and then the patents, machinery, goodwill, advertisement expenditure, all these things. On the liability side, we have creditor, workman compensation reserve is there, investment fluctuation reserve is there, capital account is given for the partners, right? And moving on to the adjustment part, this is the adjustment of this question. So there are so many adjustment in the question. First adjustment is regarding, question is saying that Z is retiring from the partnership, and on that date we need to do these adjustments. Goodwill of the firm is to be revalued. Sorry, goodwill of the firm is to be valued at 34,800. Value of the patent is to be reduced by 20%, machinery to 90%, provision for doubtful debt is to be created at 6%. Right, Z took over the investment at a market value. Liability for the workman compensation to the extent of rupees 750 is to be created. A liability of 4,000 is to be included in the creditor is not paid, is not to be paid. Amount due to Z to be paid as follows: 5067 immediately, 50% of the balance within 1 year, and the balance by draft for 3 months. All right. Then question is telling us to pass the general entry for the treatment of the goodwill. We need to prepare the revaluation account, we need to prepare the capital account, we need to prepare the balance sheet as well. So the question is lengthy. Question is asking us to do so many things. General entry is also required for the goodwill. The revaluation account need to be prepared, capital account need to be prepared, balance sheet is to be made as well. All right. So guys, first of all, since the valuation, the treatment of the self-valued goodwill is easy in this question, I want both of you to treat the value of the goodwill first of all, then we will start with the revaluation account, right? I want both of you to do the pass the general entry for the treatment of the goodwill.
Okay, sir.
Adjustment A. And let me just show you the previous slide as well. So the old profit sharing ratio of the partner was 3 to 2 to 1. Done, both of you. Sania, Aman. Treatment for the self-valued goodwill is done. Yes or no? Or you are still doing it?
Sir, I'm still doing it.
Okay. You'll have to find out the gaining and sacrificing shares of the partner as well in this question to pass the general entry. Just tell me whenever you are done. Done, both of you. Yes or no? Say something at least. Sania, Aman, what happened? Am I audible to both of you? Sania, I'm not able to hear you. Could you please speak louder? Aman, what happened? You are trying this or not? Just tell me. No response. All right. Anyways, let me show you the solution of this question. Aman, I'm not able to hear you. I think there's some problem with your. I, maybe there's something wrong with my mic, with my speaker. Let me just check. See guys, this is the solution of the question. We need to pass the journal entry for the treatment of the self-valued goodwill, right? So first of all, for treating the self-valued goodwill, we will have to pass the journal entry. The journal entry will be NPSR, new profit sharing ratio minus the old profit sharing ratio, right? You can see the calculation. If anyone have any doubt, please let me know. Otherwise, we'll move to the next part. Sania Aman, is this clear? Please tell me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Clear.
Aman, is this clear to you? Okay. What happened to your audios, guys? Is there some problem with your mic? Anyways, moving on to the next thing. On the basis of the gaining and sacrificing shares, we have just passed the journal entry: X capital account debit, Y capital account debit to Z capital account. The amount of self-valued goodwill was 34800. We have distributed it in the gaining and sacrificing shares. So we got for X capital account, it will be X capital account will be debited by 20,880 and then 13,920. I hope it is clear. Now we'll move to the next part for that is preparation of the revaluation account. So let me just make the format of that, and I want you to make the format as well. Revaluation account. The system is also running slow today. All right, so this is our revaluation account. In the revaluation account, the first thing which is given in the question is value of the patent is to be reduced by 20%. Value of the patent is to be reduced by 20%. Let's look at the value of the patent. Patent given in the question was 10,000. Patent on the asset side, we have the value of the patent as 10,000. Question is asking us to reduce it by 20%. That means 20% of 10,000 will be 2,000, right? So we will go to the revaluation account, and on the debit side, we will record the value of the patent to patents 2,000. Tell me if it is clear or not, both of you. If this is clear, yes or no, Aman?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, just a moment. Then moving back to the question, it says value of the patent is to be reduced by value of the patent is to be reduced by 20% and that of the machinery is 290%. Value of the machinery 290% means the value of the machinery will now be reduced 290. What do you mean by 290%? That means whatever the value that is given in the question for the machinery, now it is to be valued at 20%. So let's do the 20% of the value of the machinery. The value of the machinery is how much? 50,000. And 90% it will be recorded at 45,000. So that means there is a reduction in the value of the machinery by 5,000, right? So we'll go to the revaluation account and write that here. To machinery 5,000. Got it? Is this clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, coming back to the question. The next adjustment in the question says provision for doubtful debt is to be created as 6%. Provision for doubtful debt is to be created as 6%. Currently, we have made a provision for 2,000 on 40,000. Let's just calculate 6% of 40,000. 6% of 40,000 is how much? 2,400, right? 6% of 40,000 is 2,400. We already made a provision of rupees 2,000, but this is less than the provision that we are required to make. The provision is actually required to be made at 6%, which is 2,400, but we have made a provision for only 2,000. That means we will have to further increase the provision by 400. That means the value of the debtor will further reduce by 400. So we'll go to the revaluation account again, and on the debit side, since the value of the debtors will be reducing because of the increase in the provision, so we'll write down provision for doubtful debt. 400. Is this clear? Both of you, tell me.
Yes.
Yes.
Coming back to the question again, it says Z took over the investment at market value. Z took over the investment at market value. So what do you mean by this? Z took over the investment but at market value means Z is buying the value of the Z is buying the investment. So Z will have to make the payment. So Z is buying the investment at what rupees? At what price? See, the current market price of the investment is 17,600. The value of the investment recorded in the book is at rupees 15,000 only. So the book value of the investment is how much? 15,000. Book value of the investment is 15,000, and Z is taking over the investment at 17,600. That means Z will have to pay 17,600. That means firm will be receiving 17,600 against the investment, the value of which is actually 15,000. That means firm is going to make a profit of 2,600. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
The value of the investment that actually cost 15,000, Z is taking over those investment by paying 17,600. That means firm is going to have a profit of 2,600, and that profit need to be recorded in the revaluation account as well, on the this time on the credit side by investment 2,600. Got it? Is this clear?
Yes.
All right, and moving on to the next adjustment. Z took over. Okay, we already dealt with D. Moving on to the E, liability for workman compensation to the extent of 750 is to be created. So the actual liability for workman compensation arise for rupees 750. Now pay attention to the balance sheet and try to understand. The reserve that we have made for workman compensation was how much? We have made a reserve for rupees 12,000. So we have anticipated that we may be required to pay compensation up to 12,000 to the workmen for as a compensation, but the actual liability toward the workmen by way of workman compensation is actually only 750. So what will happen to the remaining reserve that we have made? That means we have made a excess amount of reserve, na?
Yes, sir.
So that the excess amount of reserve that we have earlier made need to be distributed among the partners, right?
Yes, sir.
And in what ratio we will be distributing that?
Mm.
In the
All.
old profit sharing ratio, right?
Yes, sir.
So 12,000 minus 750 will be how much? 12,000 minus 750 will be 11,250. Is that right? 12,000 minus 750 equals to 11,250. So 11,250 need to be distributed among the partner by way of workman compensation reserve. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
And so this is not obviously related to the revaluation account, right? So we won't be doing anything about this right now. We will be talking about adjustment E when we will prepare the partner's capital account. Right now, this is of no use. Got it? Is this clear?
Yes,
D,
sir.
there will be no treatment for D at this point of time since we are only preparing the revaluation account. Next adjustment in the question says a liability of rupees 4,000 included in the creditor is not to be paid. Now this is important. 4,000 liability is not to be paid. So there was one creditor of rupees 4,000. Now we are not required to pay 4,000 to such creditor. That means this is obviously a gain for the firm. So hence it should be recorded on which side of the revaluation account? Tell me. Debit side or the credit side? There is decrease in the value of creditor. On which side I should record that?
Uh, the sundry creditors is decreasing.
Sorry. Could you please repeat, Tanya?
Um, it will be recorded in the debit side
Why it will be recorded on the debit side?
because it's reducing.
The value of the liability is reducing. Na? See, 4,000 is not required to be paid anymore. That is what question is saying. So that was a liability, but since creditors are not required to be paid, so that means there is a reduction in the value of the liability, and therefore we will record this on the credit side. So by creditors, 4,000, right?
Okay. Yes, sir.
I don't think any other item is left to be treated. Item G is not related to adjustment. D is not related to the revaluation account, so we'll skip this for now. We'll talk about it while preparing the partner's capital account, but for the time being, we can just skip it. I think everything is done, starting with the goodwill of the firm is to be okay. Achha, I think we have made a mistake here. Goodwill of the firm is given, na? I'm sorry. Goodwill of the firm is given as 34,800, na? And
Yeah.
so we will have to do the treatment for the self-valued goodwill. Since Z is retiring, so we will have to determine the Z share in the goodwill only. Oh, I made a mistake. So just a minute. Z share of goodwill will be how much? 34. Z was the partner for how much share? 1 by 6, right? 1 upon 6. Z share was 1 by 6. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So that means out of 34,800, we will have to determine 1 by 6 of the 34,800. So let me just do that. Calculate 34,800 divided by 6. So it is 5,800. 5,800 and let me just make the correction. Instead of distributing 34,800, we should actually distribute 5,800 only. So 5,800 into the gaining and sacrificing share. So gaining share for X is 3 by 30. 3 by 30. So this will be into 3 divided by 30. We will get 580. and then just a minute. 3 by 30 could also be interpreted as 3:2 and 1/6. The 800 into sacrificing share for Z is 1/6. So this need to be distributed between A and C in the ratio of 3:2. So in 2, 3 divided by 5, we should get 3480 here. 3480. And 5800 into 2 by 5, we will get 2320. And 5800 will be credited to CA. So this will be the correct journal entry, guys. I'm sorry. X capital account, Y capital account to Z capital. All right, moving on to the, we are done with the revaluation account. We just need to find out the balancing figure. So you can clearly see the debit side of the revaluation account is greater than the credit side. Debit side is more than the credit side. So for that, we'll first of all total the debit side value 2000 plus 5007, 7 plus 4, 7400. 7400 minus 4000 minus 2600, we will get 800 as the loss in the revaluation account. So loss is to be recorded on the credit side. We will write it this way: by loss transferred to. Loss will be transferred to the old partners X, Y, and Z. X, Y, and Z. So when you will distribute 800 among the old partners, you should get 400, 800 into 3 by 6. So that means 400 for X, 800 into 2 by 6. That is 267 for Y. And for Z, it will be 800 into 1 by 3. So 133 for Z. This is how we will prepare the revaluation account. Totaling both the sides now, you should get the same answer. 7400 on the debit side, 7400 on the credit side. Got it? Please tell me, is this clear, Sania Aman? The revaluation account is clear, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, after this, we will now continue with the partners capital account. You guys also prepare the format of the partners capital account, please. Partners capital account, and we have 3 partners. So okay, so this is the debit side. And this is the credit side. First of all, in the partners capital account, we will write down the opening capital balances of the partners. So we'll write down by, this is obviously X, Y, and Z's account, X, Y, Z. So opening balance is by balance BD. Balance BD is opening balances of the partners were given in the question. No? It was 68, 32, 21,000. 68, 32, and 21,000. Please write this: 38, 62, and 21,000. 68, 32, 21,000. Now let's move to the other items. So we need to record the loss suffered in the revaluation account, right? And that will be written on which side? On the credit side, on the debit side. So we'll write down to the revaluation account. X account will be debited by 400, 267, and 133. Tell me if it is clear or not.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then there is a goodwill appearing in the book as well. So you can see the goodwill appearing in the books, goodwill appearing in the balance sheet. Here we have goodwill appearing in the balance sheet. So goodwill that appears in the balance sheet, what do we do with that? We just distribute it among, we need to write it off among the partners. The loss has to be borne by the partners in the old PSR. So let's do that. Let's show it in the partners capital account. So we'll write down to goodwill appearing in the book, right? So this is the purchased goodwill, and the value of the purchased goodwill given in the question is 6,000. We need to distribute it among partners in their old PSR. So old PSR was 3:2:1. So that means out of 6,000, 3,000 has to be borne by X, 2,000 has to be borne by Y, and 1,000 has to be borne by Z. Got it? Is this clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if you are, oh, just a minute. Any other thing in the balance sheet? Let me check. There is no general reserve. Do we have any general reserve? No. We have workman compensation reserve, but yeah, workman compensation reserve, right? So there was a liability against workman compensation reserve by 750, but the remaining can be distributed among the partners, na. So out of 12,000, 750 will be subtracted. Remaining 11,250 need to be distributed among the partners, right?
Yes.
So how are we going to deal with that? We'll go to the revaluation account, sorry, partners capital account, and write down by workman compensation reserve. I'm using the short form since I don't have space available. Workman compensation reserve, and let's just find out the share. 11,250, right? We need to distribute it in the, first of all, 3:2:1. So that means 3/6, 2/6. So 11,250 into 3 divided by 6. So 5625 for X, 5625, and for Y it will be 3750, and remaining will be 1875. This will be given to, credited to Z's account. Got it? Is this clear? The treatment of the workman compensation reserve is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then in the balance sheet we have the investment fluctuation reserve as well, right? Investment fluctuation reserve is appearing at rupees 6,000. and there is no information given in the question regarding the treatment of the investment fluctuation reserve. So how are we going to deal with this? Tell me. If nothing is given in the question, we can simply distribute it among the partners, right? In the old PSR, can we do that?
Yes, sir.
So we will be writing IFR, investment fluctuation reserve, and the same amount will be distributed among the partners. So 6,000, when we will distribute it among the partners, we will get 3,000, 2,000 and 1,000 for the partners respectively, 3,000, 2,000 and 1,000. Right? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other thing is left or not? Let me check. We have already treated
Advertisement expense.
advertisement expense. Yeah, advertisement expense is a kind of loss. It is a kind of loss. So this has to be borne by all the partners in their profit sharing ratio. So just a minute, advertisement expense. We'll write down on the debit side to advertisement expense. And the loss of it will be distributed among the partners in the old PSR again. So let me check the amount. The amount was 5250. So when you will distribute it, you will get 5250 into 3 by 6. So this is 2625. 2625. Then 1750 and 875. This is how we will distribute the advertisement loss among the partners. Right? Anything else that we haven't treated? Just a minute, let me check. Investment, yeah, investment question. One of the adjustment in the question was saying that Z took over the investment, right? Z took over the investment at the market value. That means Z's account need to be debited by 17,600, 17,600. Got it? Is this point clear? Z's account need to be debited by 17,600. So we'll write down to investment. To investment. One Z's account need to be debited. So 17,600 will be debited to Z account. Is this clear, Aman, Sania?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. So I think everything is done. Only one general entry need to be recorded in the partner's capital account also. That was for the self-valued goodwill. In the self-valued goodwill, we have debited X capital account, Y capital account to Z capital account 5800. So we will go to the debit side of the partner's capital account and write down to that's capital account Y. Just a minute. Z is retiring now. Okay, correct. So that means to Z. The same amount will be written here. X in the X capital account 3480, in the Y capital account 2320. So both the accounts will be debited by 3480 and 2320. And on the other side of the equation, we'll write down by in the Z capital account 3480 and 2320. This one is for X by X capital account by Y capital account. Got it? Is this clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I think everything is done here. All we need to do is, there is one adjustment left in the question, that was adjustment number, yeah, adjustment G. Now let's understand what adjustment G is saying. Adjustment G is saying that Z is to be paid as follows. Amount which is due to Z is to be paid as follows. 5067 is to be paid in cash immediately, right? 5067 need to be paid immediately. 50% of the amount of the balance within 1 year, and the balance by a draft. So see, when it says that 5067 rupees need to be paid immediately, that means this has to be paid out of cash, and 50% of the balance amount which is to be paid is to be paid within 1 year, and remaining 50% is to be paid within 3 months. So the amount which is need to be paid within 3 months through the draft, that means we need to pay it through the bills payable. We have to draw a bills payable for that, and remaining 50% is to be paid within 1 year. So we will consider that Z is giving us a loan of the 50% amount. Let me explain this. See, we will, how do we determine the Z's amount? Whatever the amount which is due towards Z, how do we calculate that? For the calculation of amount due towards Z, we will first of all total the credit side value, yes or no? Will total the credit side value, yes or no? And the total of the credit side value, let me just do that for you. Let's first of all total the credit side value. 21600 plus 1875 plus 1000 plus 3480 plus 2320, right? So sum total of this will be 30275. That is what I'm getting. Let me just recheck it. 21,1875, then 1000, 3480, 2320. Let me just do it one more time. 21600 plus 1875 plus 1000 plus 3480 and 2320. So this is 30275. 30275. Sum total of the credit side is 30275. Now we will total the debit side value. We will have to subtract debit side value. So we will subtract 133 out of it, then 1000 out of it, then 875, then 17,600, right? What is the remaining amount left? 10,067. The balance for Z is 10,067, right? Everybody is able to understand this, yes or no? 10,060, just 10,667. This is the amount that we need to pay to Z, since Z is retiring now. So Z need to be paid this 10,667. But what question is telling us? Question is telling us to make this payment like this. First of all, 55,667 need to be paid immediately. So that means out of this 5,067 need to be paid immediately. Now tell me the remaining amount left after paying the 5067. 5067 remaining amount is 5600. Remaining amount is 5600. Is that clear? This is 50% cash paid, and remaining is 5600. Question is also telling us the treatment of the remaining 50%. How do we treat remaining 50%? Question is telling us that 50% of the balance, 50% of the balance, whatever the amount left, 50% of that need to be paid in 1 year. and the remaining is to be paid within 3 months through the draft. So how do we interpret this? This is how this will be interpreted. 5 out of this we have paid this much, and this is the remaining amount. Out of the remaining, this is the balance amount, right? Out of the balance amount, question is asking us to pay 50% will be paid in a year. We won't be making any payment for this. How much will be 50% of the 5600 into 50%? This will be 2800. So 2800 will be paid after a year. So this is a kind of loan that Z will be granting us, loan for 1 year. You're getting this point? And remaining 50% of the balance amount, has to be paid through draft. So what do you mean by draft? Draft means bills. We will issue a negotiable instrument for that, bills payable, BP, bills payable. So we will issue a negotiable instrument, the promissory note for rupees 2800. This is how Z's account will be settled. The balance, sorry, the amount that need to be paid to Z in order to settle his account is 10,667, out of which 50% is to be paid in cash, and the balance need to be paid out of the balance 50% need to be paid in a year, and 50% will be paid through a draft, right? So this is how we will be treating it. Is this clear, everyone? Both of you, Sania, Aman?
Yes, sir.
Any confusion? No.
No.
Okay, so 10,667. So let's do that. First of all, we'll pay by cash. So to cash account 5067. Then we will issue a negotiable instrument, bills payable. This is a draft for rupees 2800, and remaining amount will be taken as a loan account. So we'll write down Z's loan account. We are asking Z that the remaining amount will be paid within a year. 2800 will be account sanctioned by Z to us. Got it? And then we will finalize this account. So the sum total of it should be 30275. Got it? Is this clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
And then we will finalize the account of the other partners. So let's do that. So 32,000, the credit balance of the Y is 32,000 plus 3750 plus 2,000. Sum total of it will be 37750. And we need to subtract all these values. 2667 to 167 minus 2000 minus 1750 minus 2320. This will be 3143. So this is the closing balance of Z of Y to balance CD for Y will be 31413. And the sum total of it should be same, 37750. Now let's talk about X. So it will be 68,000 plus 5625 plus 3,000. So it is 76625. And then we need to subtract the values on the debit side. Minus 400 minus 3,000, 2625 then 3480. We got 67120. This is the closing balance of X and 76625. Please tell me if the partner's capital account is clear, both of you.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, and we are yet to prepare the balance sheet, so I'm not preparing the balance sheet now. I'm giving you giving you this part as an homework. Please prepare the balance sheet for this question. We'll talk about the formation of the balance sheet in the next class, but the formation of the balance sheet will be homework for you. You need to prepare the balance sheet of this question. Am I clear, Sania and Aman?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What is happening? Anyways, all right. So balance sheet of this question will be homework. We'll talk about this on Wednesday, and there is a possibility that we will be having a small test on Wednesday that will be regarding the treatment of the retirement of the partnership. So be prepared for that as well. So I'm not sure, I'm not confirming anything. There is a possibility that we will be conducting a test. All right, everything is written. Anybody want to take the screenshot of any specific section?
No, sir.
Done. Aman, Sania, both of you.
Yes, sir.
All right then. So this is it for today's class. Sania, you are saying something?
Yes, sir. For the first chapter, you haven't taught. Only till interest on capital you have taught.
All right. So what are the topics that we are yet to cover in that chapter? Interest on drawing.
After interest on capital, everything we have to cover.
Apart from interest on capital, we need to cover everything else.
Yes,
So
sir. Till interest on capital you have covered. After that,
all right. So no issues. We will start that topic as soon as we are done with the retirement. Then we will cover the initial part of the syllabus, the first chapter. Okay, is that clear?
yes.
All right then. So this is it, guys. Homework is the formation of the balance sheet will be homework for the next class. Thank you so much for joining. We'll see you in the next class. Till then, take care.
Okay, sir. Bye, sir.
Bye.